Hi, Filmedics. Thanks for tuning in today. Today we have a very special guest, Shammika Mukherjee. And she is coming to us live all the way from India. She's an award-winning producer known for Trip with Me. It's a TV series that hit more than 20 million views and began a digital sensation. Congratulations. She has also produced several films that have won global awards like Cannes, Berlin Festival, and Hollywood Fest. And Shamika's recent work includes producing films for brands like BMW, Sony, and Uber, all around the world, including India, Europe, and Kenya. Welcome to the show, Shamika.
Hey, Marilyn, thanks for inviting me. I am super thrilled to be on this show, and I must say, you're giving your listeners some amazing content. And I must say, I am a film addict myself now.
Oh, great. And so, on your quest to become this fabulous female producer that you are, I want to know, like, what is one of your favorite films growing up?
Well, this is the most difficult question for any film addict out there. But if I had to choose one, then it would definitely be Little Miss Sunshine. I mean, the film is a classic independent feature, which actually rocked at the Sundance as well. And for those who haven't watched it, it's a story about a lovable, dysfunctional family that sets out on a road trip for a beauty pageant for kids and meeting several setbacks and catastrophes on their way. It's a comic, yet very touching. And with the characters, they're like squaring off against their demons, struggling them within themselves, and they come out victorious. So I just love real stories like that speak the truth, and how every character in that story is imperfect. So that film teaches a lot about self love, and I absolutely enjoy it.
Yeah, that was a really wonderful film. And like you said, it was like a comedy, but then really touching and a realistic, about life. So Little Miss Sunshine, really great film. And, films that are dear to me are the Criterion Collection because I think that they are masterpieces for film addicts. I was wondering, was there any one film that inspired your career path?
I think that has to be The Graduate. And I watched it a long time back. Actually, I was in the film school at the New York Film Academy in Los Angeles. That's where I watched that film, and it is an absolute visual treat. The narrative is super solid, and the details. I mean, the director Mike Nichols did an incredible job with it. And I love the symbolism in the film and everything. The cinematography, production design, wardrobe, everything is so detailed in the movie that it just adds to the audience interpretation of the film. And I just absolutely love the style, and the director has definitely helped me be more aware of the details and how art could reflect in different aspects of filmmaking, other than just the story. So I actually learned this idea that art is in the details from Mike Nichols.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. A lot of set design and props and when you're indie filmmaker, when you have to make your own film sets, it's like you're like, yeah, art is amazing. I had to make a film set that I of actual spaceship. So so I know and it's fun
Wow.
too. Yeah, like you're very artistic when you're doing sets and stuff like that. Also, is there any favorite scenes of film shots of directors that you've enjoyed?
So I actually happened to see Whiplash, in fact, recently, and it was on my list for a very long time. So I finally happened to see, and I like it might sound like a cliche because I mean it is one of the greatest scenes. But since you asked, I would love to mention that scene where you rushing or were you dragging was was amazing. Like it was so powerful. I mean, I watch it every time and I get goosebumps. Like everything about that movie is so intriguing, and that scene specifically, I'm so anticipated by the whole act. Like the character of J.K. Simmons is so present in the moment. So both actors in the scene have opposing attitudes and are in conflict with each other. So every dialogue was kind of escalating into enhanced form of expression and emotion. Although I'm sure there are like numerous scenes like these, but this one definitely created an impact. And I'm so glad J.K. Simmons bagged an Oscar for this role in this.
Yeah, so that was Whiplash. And yes, I love that scene. Were you rushing or were you dragging? So, and we're coming, yeah, we're coming live. So I just want to make sure that that we are connected great. And so also, I know that you have some favorite lines of movies. Would you like to share some of those with us?
Absolutely. So, one of my favorite lines would be from this movie Invictus. It's actually a quote by Nelson Mandela, which says, "I'm the master of my fate, captain of my soul." And it specifically struck me because I feel this translates into feeling like I believe in myself. I solely have control over determining my feelings and my destiny despite the circumstance. So, I mean, obviously, Nelson Mandela was a supremely self confident and an optimistic, and he believes that he could heal the wounds of oppression and unite a country through tolerance. And this quote just fits so well. So, and for everyone out there who's struggling and who's, you know, dealing with self lack of self confidence. So I think this quote is like a reminder for everyone to
Yeah,
believe in yourself.
that's beautiful. Yeah, and also, I know that you have a favorite character from a movie. Would you like to share that with us?
Oh yes, that has to be Joker. Of course, I mean Heath Ledger made Joker an epitome of villains. So I absolutely
Yep, the Joker with Keith Ledger, and she was saying to us that
yeah.
he's an unconventional villain, and I like that too. So, and just incredible actor, and just
Yeah.
sorry to see.
I mean, the terror he spreads is ideological, and his motivations are not just philosophical, which actually makes him very mysterious, and it constantly keeps us on the edge because even though eventually he got defeated by Batman, it appears that Joker did indeed prove his point. It was not about money or success or anything of that sort. It was just his motivations were so philosophical, and that really intrigued me.
Yeah, I like the Joker so much that I did a comedy spoof of superheroes, and I had a prankster, and he put a serum in the milk at Got Milk City. It was just all spoof and fun. So we like those Jokers, and so
That's so cool. I would love to see that.
yeah, and the things you do when you start making movies. I also I can you tell us about this astrophysics, and this is very interesting.
So, well, this is gonna introduce you to a very different part of my personality, but I do love studying astrophysics and specifically the black holes and supernovas. I was never a science kid, but my obsession actually grew after I watched Theory of Everything, and Stephen Hawking's really became an inspiration to me. So yeah, it just all started recently, maybe I think in the lockdown when I really had nothing too much to do. So other than just reading scripts and writing scripts, I really started exploring space and everything about it and around it. So yeah, that's how my interest grew into astrophysics and studying and getting into the details. It's actually a lot of fun.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And that's very just there's so much space, and just like seeing if like our telescopes can communicate with other planets
Right.
out there. It's amazing. It's a big world. But so
It is.
yeah, can you tell us how you started your career path? A lot of our audience is, aspiring writer, director, producer, actor. So would you like to share that with us?
Absolutely. So it's a very funny story actually. So I was studying filmmaking. As I mentioned earlier, I was in Los Angeles. I was studying at the film school, and I was very keen on directing movies. And it was my first year at college. So someone told a fellow filmmaker that I'm apparently a very good producer. And I had not even studied the basics of producing till then, honestly. But the filmmaker got in touch with me to produce his thesis film. Then, I mean, I wonder how he thought I could do this. And that too, that was a period piece. So I was about to turn him down because honestly, I had no idea of producing and hadn't even produced a scene till then. But he happens to mention the budget, and then I paused and I started to reconsider it. I mean, I'd be a fool if I say no to $1,000 in my first year of college. So of course, I agreed to do it. I spent literally like a week at stretch learning how to produce. I booked consultation with instructors. I read online articles. I spoke to friends around, and to my surprise, I was more than ready in a week. And honestly, till today, it's one of the best movies I've produced. I fell in love with producing since then, and I absolutely just love doing it. You know that feeling you get when when you get paid for what you love to do. It's like an absolute bliss.
Yes, yes. You're like me. I fell in love with directing, but I always had to do all the producing. And but I love producing, especially finding a good script and working with a great director, writer, or another producer. So it's beautiful. And I heard that you had some funny stories about filming.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stories because you've been on so many sets around so many people, different personalities, people from all around the world, actually. So, like, you always have these funny stories and they always have funny characters on set. So, I think that's what happened once with me. I was on set in Nairobi. We were doing a wedding scene for a film, and you know how terminology in films can sometimes make things very funny and pretty confusing for people who just started. So there was a certain amount of chaos on one of the schedules, and my director was really restless because we had a lot to finish. So he decided to split some work among his assistants, and that was the only way we could have wrapped things early. So he gave out specific B-roll shots to be taken around different parts of the set, and so he was like, Dan, can you take some filler shots? Ricky, can you take some time lapses? And William, why don't you like finish some shots of the dance floor? And he told this person, he was a new assistant. So my director told Mark, his name was Mark, he told him to take shots around the bar area. And minutes later, my director waited to hope his assistants, would have reduced some of his workload. While three came back with usable footage, Mark, who was the fresher on set, he went missing. We looked around to find, and that will leave us in splits. Mark was sitting literally on a table, half drunk, having us reach out to him.
Oh
So we
my
asked him
gosh.
to take shots, and he literally went to the bar and he had like real shots. Like he was half drunk. And we asked him, "Are you okay?" He goes like, "Yeah, you told me to finish the shots of the bar. I am like I've had 8 of them and I spilled 2." As much as I wanted to trash him, I just couldn't control and I actually burst into laughter. It was really, really funny. Like he literally got himself drunk, which is so hilarious. So there's some terms, it could be very confusing for people whose first language is not English. I mean, we're shooting in Nairobi, so obviously he spoke Swahili and he did understand English, but it was just funny that how he did not understand shots as in like like film shots and not just like alcohol shots. So it was
Oh
damn
my,
funny.
he brings a new meaning to the martini shot. Yeah. Well, he must have said, "Wow, this is the best job in the world. I get to just drink shots. Woohoo!"
Right.
I
Right.
love that story. I mean, how cute is that? I mean, I hope you guys did get your shots eventually, your bar shot.
I didn't even feel I didn't feel like yelling at him or just I was just laughing. Like I felt like, oh my god, you did not understand. I felt like it's my fault. I was like, I'm so sorry I wasn't clear enough. But it was that funny.
Yeah, and so making films, especially for new people or people, who are working on their career, what are some challenges that you have found in the business?
It's always, I think, the biggest and the greatest challenge we all filmmakers tend to face is finding people with money. Like, especially like in this time and age where everything has become so digital. And it's not about $100 million movie. You can make a movie with a simple camera and a beautiful story, and like literally that's all you need. But I just feel like people are still not investing a new talent. Like, I have a script of gold in my pocket, yet it's so hard to convince people to bet on it. And that's the thing. Funding has always been the hardest part, I believe. And I personally have been turned down several times. And as a producer, literally, there were times I had to get free catering, free actors sometimes, and even free locations. And it was extremely hard, but I did make it happen. And that's the role of the producer. So I'll tell you, once I was producing this feature film in 2015. It's called The Odd Essay in LA. It was an independent, ultra low budget film, and we spent a lot of funds in VFX. So I literally went on to convince Chipotle to not throw any their excess food and donate it on a set for like a week. So I believe, and actually they did it. So I believe you just have to be unstoppable until you achieve what you want. Also, through the process, I learned that we work and interact with humans, not machines. When we ask for funding, when we ask for, budget friendly locations or crew, we just have to make them believe in our work from a human perspective. And mostly it actually does work.
Yeah, when I was doing one of my films, I had asked a perfect stranger. He had like an antique convertible car, a sports car, and I dropped a note in there because my friend who has become an executive producer at a major network, from being an indie producer, goes, "Oh, just keep asking people." So I literally just followed his path. I'm glad that I was like naive as bliss because I just literally was asking people. Well, he showed up to the set with two sports cars for me to choose. And I had this beautiful antique yellow convertible for my James Bond character, which was James Blonde. And he also let me use his James Dean convertible Porsche car and asking. But the whole time in the set when I was shooting, because I didn't have insurance, I was like, nobody wrecked the car, no one damaged it. But luckily, um, I had two beautiful, sports cars, and I did return them in perfect shape. And because you were nervous the whole time as producer director, and but yeah, so like you said, like we might be new and we might have the script of gold, but you know we're doing our job of creating and building our credits and our name. So one day that people will be like, oh, there's Shammika and there's Marilyn. They did it. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And so and then during the pandemic, have you missed like meeting people? Have you missed like was there a nice bar that you used to go to, or restaurant?
So my lockdown and the whole COVID period went pretty well, actually. I thought it would affect my art because obviously you won't get to go out as much, you won't get to shoot. So, like in traditional, filmmaking lines. But weirdly, the whole lockdown had opened more doors for me, and I got to curate a lot of great content being at home, not like traditional filmmaking, but definitely stepping my foot into fun content and like, cinematic food videos or, like blogs and, all stuff, but all cinematic and shot like a film. And so, yeah, it was fun. It was honestly, I have realized there's so much more you can do even in such situations, and you're not just restricted to one thing you think you know the best. So obviously it did open a lot of other doors, and I started inspecting, and I started experimenting with a lot more other stuff and content as a producer that I could have done.
Yeah, and I know that you have this delicious drink. Can you tell us about this martini? I love the name. Your Hollywood Detective Martini, because most of us are at home either drinking hot toddies, hot chocolate, or let's face it, we're binge watching TV, and a lot of people are drinking, especially after yesterday. A lot of people are drinking.
Like, yeah, absolutely. I love martini. Like, that's like my favorite to go drink because it feels like it is wired to light me up, yet it calms you down. So it's just like a perfect drink. And it's yeah, it's called the Hollywood Detective, and it's a martini with vermouth, add a pinch of grenadine and champagne, and there you go.
I like that. That's going to be, I think, our official drink for Film Addicts is the Hollywood Detective. Yeah, yeah. We just launched Thrilling Stories podcast with a Hollywood Detective drama series called Identity Theft. So everyone do check that out. Our Thrilling Stories podcast, Identity Theft, and we'll be drinking the Hollywood Detective and thinking of Shammika. Shammika, can I love this fact that I was reading about you. You're a big lover of animal conservation. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So my husband and I, we work a lot in Nairobi, Kenya. We produce a lot of commercials and TV shows there. So, and we're actually very fond of the country as well. It's just beautiful, and the life there is like breathtaking. It's just amazing. So we started filming there a lot of content, and as we explored the country more, we realized that we need through our work, we need to spread more awareness about animal and wildlife conservation and basically coexisting in the jungle. So we also happen to adopt a baby elephant there as well, and I mean the culture there is really beautiful. It's all about wildlife and taking care of the cattle, and the Maasai's there and the tribes there. They're just all about conserving animals, and how poaching has affected the country. So about that, and a lot of nature related stuff that my husband and I are very keen on spreading awareness through documentary films and content. So yeah, that's I'm a big believer in animal conversation, so I absolutely enjoy spending time and making films on that subject.
I'd love to see your documentaries on that. And I love that you adopted a baby elephant. And like we have so many similarities. I wrote a book called Skip Boots Big Safari Adventure, where this little yeah, a red panda that goes to the jungle and meets all the animals there, and he basically saves the day from poachers. And it was dedicated to the lion that they shot. So yes, I mean I love animals, and I love that you adopted a baby elephant. I mean I love animals. So thank you for doing those. I can't wait to see a documentary that you do. And I just wanted to just see if you wanted to share anything. How's COVID affected your art, and is there anything that you're doing upcoming for 2021 that our audience can catch up with you and learn that you're doing?
Oh, well, specifically during the lockdown, I honestly spent every day learning something new. And I did obviously work pitching some scripts and, film related stuff. But I also ended up learning 25 very new, exciting things. I actually made a list. So I learned baking, I learned sewing, I made vision boards, aquarium, like a small one at home. So in fact, I learned the ancient Egyptian as well, which was really, really hard, but I did it. I mean, I love being constructive and offline. So I'm always in for trying out new things and doing new things and being knowledgeable, and just adds on to the kind of a person I am, I feel. And I believe 2021 is going to be great, and I'm going to be back in LA soon because that's where I want to be. I'm like kind of addicted to that city because it somehow feeds my creativity. So I'm just waiting to be back in LA in a couple of months, and then I'm looking forward to producing films and telling meaningful stories. I'm right now also working on producing two feature films called Secrets That Bled, and the other one is called Meet Me in Venice. These are based on very interesting concepts to be filmed in Kenya and, of course, Venice. And I also recently worked on a makeup based reality show in India. It's called Make Me Up, which comes out this year. So do watch out for it. And I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, and what was it called? The reality show is called Meet Me what?
Make Me Up.
Make Me Up. Make Me Up. It sounds really amazing. Well, our audience can catch up with you. Your YouTube channel is Shub Mukherjee Official, and I'll spell that SHUBHMUKHERJEE Official. And then you're also on LinkedIn, Shammika Mukherjee. And I just want to just thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was a pleasure having you today, Shammika.
Thanks for having me, Marilyn. It was such a pleasure talking with you. I really enjoy your show and I'm very happy being here. I really hope your listeners remain engrossed in these conversations and be motivated to dream bigger.
I love that. Yeah, to dreaming bigger and to having a healthy and happy new year, and just to art. Art is work, and it definitely can be healing and funny. And I think we need our art probably more than ever now. And just want to thank our listeners for tuning in. And until next week, everyone have a great week.